You don't want to sit?
Oh, I hate that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Need anything else?
What is maybe something to make it a little higher? I was thinking.
Do you want me to go get my LCD and that way it'll just sit up on top of it?
Yeah, sure. That would be great.
Okay.
Not sure what that is, but let's try it.
Yeah, so I can project the projector.
Okay,
and then
yes.
it'll sit up higher.
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yes, that's perfect. Ooh, language. Before I start. Just wanted them to bring in some more chairs before I start. Good to go? Okay, good. It's still morning. I'll be losing track of time. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, all right. That was okay, but so I'm a host and I'm a poet, right? And so I feed off of energy. So whatever energy you all give me, that's the amount of energy I'm going to be able to produce and give back to you. If that's cool, say cool. I love it, I love it, I love it. So however you feel about yourself, that's how much noise I want you to make when I say good morning. Good morning? Good morning. Absolutely, that's a little better. All right, so we're going to start it like this. Hard times are memories that should be memorized only to memorialize the things that we've been through and the resiliency we've demonstrated to overcome them. One should never dwell on those memories. It is dangerous to live in the past when your future holds much promise. But there are so many memories in my head of how things used to be. A lot has changed. And I know they say you shouldn't stare at the past, but honestly, sometimes I peek. just to remind myself of the valleys that I've been through as I'm headed to my peak. But I can't stare too long at the past. I got to stay ahead of the game, peak. I mean, the motivated in me says that I should remember. The motivated in me says that I shouldn't dwell on the past, but the curiosity in me says that I should remember that curiosity killed the cat, and that's immediately when I knew I was going to kill this poem. And this poem ain't no flex. I'm just sharing some things in my life that's working out. Like, I remember when fruits was a delicacy, and how if we had them at the house, we knew mama got 3 checks that month. Now I check fruits off the grocery list at least 3 times a month. I even gave some to my daughter. They say the apple doesn't fall. I mean, the grind doesn't fall too far from the tree. I remember, and my older folks in here may remember too, I remember when gas was $1.83 a gallon, and I could never drive on a full tank. Now gas is dang near $4 a gallon, and I never drive on anything less than a full tank. What I'm telling y'all is that these days I'm filled up. God been pouring more blessings inside my cup. Overflow. I'm talking business. Overflow. Relationships. Overflow. Cash. Overflow. I'm only interested in having conversations with people who are trying to be progressive. Once they start talking anything else, guess what? Conversation over. Flow. No. I remember being stressed out and overlooked. Nowadays, I'm still stressed out, but more because I'm overbooked. I remember going shopping just to buy one outfit at the mall. Nowadays, if I see something I like in multiple colors, I go, let me get them all. And look, I know that may sound a little intense, but I'm thinking differently now. I'll stitch a backpack in it and call it a business expense. I remember in college being happy just to make $300 a week. Nowadays, if I do less than $300 a day, y'all, I'm weak, especially when I know I charge more than $3,000 an hour just to speak. But this poem ain't no flex. I'm just sharing some things in my life that's working out. No more trading time for money. Nowadays, I spend more money to buy back my time. Oh, how times have changed. Like when mama asked me to borrow a lot of money, and I said, how much you need? She said, $600. I said, mama, that's change. Because we moving in a space where we don't have to stress over money no more. And we ain't got to knock. We got people that'll open the door, and I'm going to hold it for your grandkids, and I'm going to give them a tour, because I remember them days when I would call in and pay my bills 35 days late, and they would ask me why, and I didn't know what to say. Nowadays, things are going so good, y'all, even my child support's on auto pay. But this poem ain't no flex. I'm just sharing some things in my life that's working out. Because I remember them days when I would sit in my house and cry because life was so bad. Now I cry because life is so good. Y'all, even my tears taste different. No more dropping tears because of struggle. Nowadays, I drop tears to remain humble, because I know in an instant I can go right back, and that thought alone is what keeps me on track, so I always stay in my bag. So I never got to chase a bag, and that is exactly why they call me Backpack. Thank you. Unfortunately, it's not the end of the speech. It's just the end of the beginning of the speech, okay? Can we give a round of applause to Principal Williams for being able to put this together? Thank you so much. Thank y'all. This has been a little while in the making. My name is Backpack Jeff. I know you will have time at the end for like a Q&A session, so that you all can ask me the question that everybody always asks: why do you call yourself Backpack Jeff? I promise I will tell you that at some point in time. But before we get to that part, I just kind of want to tell you a little bit about me, a little bit about my life. I want to let y'all a little bit into my business. Okay, I don't need to know too much of your business, but I'm just going to let you all know a little bit about myself. Okay, when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, one of my favorite subjects was math. I absolutely love math. We got any math people in here? Any people that love math? My couple math teachers always gonna raise their hand, right? I love it. But so look, my favorite subject was math. And the reason that I liked math was because math was like definite and it was absolute. Meaning it was like you got it right or you got it wrong. There was like no gray area where it was like, you almost got it right. You know what I'm saying? Like in reading, I didn't really like reading when I was younger. I didn't like it. And the reason being is because I had to read it and comprehend it, and then we had a test on it, and I really just didn't understand. And no, matter of fact, it wasn't that I didn't like reading, it was that I didn't know the proper way to read. And some of y'all are looking like, wait, what does that mean? I didn't know the proper way to read. There's a lot of things that I didn't learn in my life until later, and what I want to do is I want to share to you all so that you all, it don't take you all as long as it took me. I had to learn that there was a proper way to read. I had to learn there was a proper way to study. Anybody here know how to study? Anybody here confident that they know how to study? Yeah, a couple people. I had to learn how to study. And in learning how to study, there's a couple of things that I learned. See, I got this thing called ADHD. I was diagnosed in 2018. I've got ADHD. And for the life of me, I can't stay on track for longer than like an hour and a half at a time. And so it didn't dawn on me until my senior year of college that that's okay. And you know why? Because I met this mentor that I have who's extremely successful, and he taught me how to study. And I'm going to teach you exactly what he taught me. And the reason that I went to him was because he also has ADHD, and he's doing extremely well in his life. Well, I should probably listen to this guy. So I said, well, how do you do it? How did you get to where you are right now? He said, what I do is I put myself on a timer, because if I put myself on a timer, I know when there's an end time. Like when I sit down and I just study, I have no idea when I'm going to end or how many pages I'm going to study. But if I give myself 1 hour to study and then I rest for 15 minutes and then I go and do something completely off target from what I'm studying. If I'm studying math, I'll go outside and I'll take a walk. If I'm studying reading, if I'm studying literature, if I'm studying history, I'll go out and I'll do something. I'll go and play a video game or something like that for 15 minutes. I'm going to study in 1 hour increments, and then after that, I'm going to take a break for about 15 minutes. And then this small tactic, y'all, completely changed my life and my educational career. I graduated high school with a 2.2 grade point average. Ugh. I finished my undergraduate degree with a 2.2 grade point average. Ugh. Ugh. I finished my master's degree with a 3.7 grade point average. Remember, I didn't learn this until my senior year of my undergraduate degree. So here's what I'm saying to y'all. Through school, what you're going to learn is you're going to need to learn how to do what it is that they're asking you to do, right? And this is why I say it's a lot like math. Because in math is literally solving a problem. Solving a problem. You got to solve for X, right? In math, my math teachers in here, a lot of times what we do is we got to solve for X. And life is literally a series of problems that come into our lives that we have to solve. And here's what I learned about math, and here's what I learned about school, is that life doesn't get any easier, you just get better. With every step, you get better. With every level, you get better. It's the reason why you got to take pre-algebra, and then algebra 1, and then algebra 2, and then I don't know what comes after that. What is it, calculus or pre-calculus or something like that, right? Pre-calculus, and then it's calculus. It's the reason that there's steps, because every version of life is going to require another version of you. Here's where my life kind of got off the road, is that I didn't value what my ex was. My ex had no value, or the value of my ex wasn't high enough. I started looking at my life, grew up in Prince George's County, single mom of 4, my dad sold drugs. I grew up in an environment where I didn't value my ex. So I wasn't trying to solve for it. And I looked at other people's ex and I said, man, it looks like they're having a better time and an easier time at solving their problems than I am. Because it seems like when it rains, it pours, it's flooded. Like I got nothing left. When it rains, it pours, it's flooded. And so I started to reevaluate what my ex was. I started to reevaluate what my ex was, because I saw other people have things that I desired to have. I saw them live in nice houses. I saw them drive cars that I thought I should have. When I was 12 years old, me and my dad working construction, we were in this little boy's room, and we were putting up a disco light, a disco ball, and a fog machine. And I'm 12 years old. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, like, at all. I'm like, what are you doing? My dad's number one rule was, at a construction site, you never keep your hands in your pocket. And the reason being is because if your hands in your pocket, they're not doing what? They're not working. And if the job isn't done, that means there's still what to do. There's still work to do. So I'm sitting and I'm like, oh my goodness, man, come on. I'm like, Dad, why are we doing this? He said, because this is what the little boy wants. I said, well, why does he want to do this? He said, the little boy likes to dance. I was like, dumb. Who likes to dance? I was like, okay, I'm cleaned up, I'm done. So you said this was his bedroom, right? And you so smart. Is what you tell me, Dad. And you so smart. How come I don't see no bed in here? Where's his bed? Where does he sleep at? He's got to sleep somewhere, right? My dad said, oh, this isn't his bedroom, this is his playroom. Hold on. Time out. He got a playground inside and a playground outside? I started looking at my dad funny, y'all. I was like, so what are you doing? Why we don't have a playground inside or a playground outside? We living in this apartment, and here's the craziest thing about the whole situation, y'all. This little boy's playroom was bigger than the living room that me and my 3 other siblings lived in our whole entire lives. I started seeing things different. I had to reevaluate what my ex was going to look like. I was in college. I was watching T.I. and Tiny Family Hustle. They got this thing in their house called a white room, where everything in the room is all white. And all they do is go in there and they drink water and they just sit and talk. And you can't even go in the white room unless you're wearing all white. I was like, yo, I got to get me a white room. I was like, man, how you get that? My dad said to me, go to school, get your education, and you can be one of the top in your field and in your industry. And now you don't have to come and do the work that I'm doing. Because I seen my dad, I'm looking frustrated at my dad because my dad is doing all of the work, tired. He got the rundown, beat up car. And then the owner of the job, he comes, he's got a nice suit. He puts on his little hard hat. He walks around and goes, this is nice, Jeff. Keep up the good work. But he makes all the money, and I couldn't figure out. My dad said, you got to go and get an education. I was like, well, how am I supposed to do that? Because they'll tell you to go and get your education. They'll tell you that you need to be successful, that you should be successful. But we know in math, you need a formula. You need a formula in math. When you're solving any sort of problem in math, you need a formula. And not only do you need the formula, what did your math teacher tell you to do to let them know you knew how to get to the answer? You got to do what?
Show your work.
Show your work. That's right. You got to show your work. I wanted to see the work. My family kept telling me to be successful, but I'm like, nobody showed their work. We're not meeting as a family and talking about finances. We're not meeting as a family and we're talking about goals and going over dreams. I'm looking for somebody who showed their work. Here's what I want to encourage you all, though, right? I want to encourage you all this. I didn't have anyone in my life to show their work, so I went out and I sought people who can show me exactly how to accomplish the things that I desire to accomplish, regardless of what that was. When I went to my first mentor who had ADHD just like me, he taught me, he said, Jeff, this is how you study. When I went to my other mentor, they taught me how to read. I started reading in 10-page increments. Just read 10 pages, Jeff, and then take a break. Relax. Read 10 pages and then take a break, and then go back and read the other 10 pages, and then go back and read the other 10 pages, or read one chapter at a time, as opposed to sitting down and saying, I'm going to read 50 pages, when I know my mind can't handle that. So why would I do it? So I wanted to figure out what the formula was. And I'm going to explain to you all what formula was taught to me, and I hope this will give something to each and every single last one of y'all in terms of where you are on your journey. Any of y'all ever heard of the red car theory?
I think I have.
Tell me about it.
Oh, wait.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. So the red car theory says this. Raise your hand if you know how many red cars you saw this morning. Nobody, right? I'm willing to bet you tomorrow morning when you all come to school, if I said I'd give you $25 for every red car you saw, how many red cars would you see? All of them. You see every single last one of them red cards. You know why? Because it became important to you. Your mind is now looking for it. That means to me, you can't see and you can't hear what your eyes and your ears aren't looking or listening for. So what I want you all to do is, in this formula, I just want you to pull at least one thing from this formula that you can take with you, that you can put into your life, and you can begin to execute on. If that's cool, say cool. Cool. If that's cool, say cool. Cool. I love it, I love it, I love it. So, the first formula we're going to go over real quick. This is going to be real quick, I promise. Any of y'all ever heard of the Pythagorean theorem? Yeah. Y'all ever heard of that before, right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I really had no idea that life was just a series of formulas that you just had to solve, right? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared action, that means you got to be active. That means you have to be active. You have to be an active participant. And whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be an active participant. You can't go to a place and show up and not do any work, right? My friend who's a poet, we go out, we do poetry events. I went to an open mic one time. I was like, what's going on, bro? He said, what's up, man? He said, you performing tonight? I said, no, I'm just relaxing. He said, bro, you can't go to the gym and not work out. I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So you got to be active, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to be active. B squared is belief squared. You got to have a certain belief in yourself that you have the ability to accomplish the thing that you're trying to accomplish, right? And then C squared is just completed squared. So activity squared plus belief squared is going to be completed squared. I'm going to give you all an example of what I mean in that, right? When I was in college and I wasn't doing too well, this is pretty much how all Disney stories start. There was this girl. there was this girl, and I'm 17 years old at this time, and I meet her. I go to Waynesburg University. I'm in Pennsylvania. I meet this girl, right? And she is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in the entire world. It's like, oh my good, and like, for real, I'm not even lying to y'all. It didn't even feel like she walked. It felt like she just glide everywhere she go. Right? Just like this. I'm telling you, I was like, I met my wife. Oh my God, like this is it. Like I came up to her and I was like, hey, excuse me, weird, right? Quick question. Do you believe in love at first sight? Watch this. You're my first sight. And I was like, I love you, like, you know? Real quick, sidebar. Women love corny guys. Like, this is why, like, I was okay. Like, women will say that they don't like corny guys. They love it. They absolutely love it, right? So I knew this was going to work. And so I said, I love you. And so look, so we start dating, right, is what we call it. We start dating. And so she has this bright idea. She goes, why don't we do this? Why don't after every semester we share our grades with each other so that we can hold each other accountable? I was like, cool, I'm fine with that. I'm an athlete. I got a 2.2 grade point average. I've been consistent in my life since I was in high school. This is nothing. I'm a two-sport athlete. I'm a football player, I'm a basketball player. I'm not expected to have good grades. But then I got wind that not only was she beautiful, she was extremely smart too. And I was like, oh man, she's on this scholarship program called Bonner Scholars, right? And she's got to keep her grade point average up real high. Otherwise, she's going to lose her scholarship money. And then mommy and daddy's going to have to pay for her college tuition. She can't do that. So she keeps her grades up extremely high. And I got nervous because the first semester had ended. And I looked at my grades. It was a 2.2. Football season was ending. Basketball season was up next. Smooth follow through to me. Okay, let me work on my follow through. But I got nervous because I'm at my dorm and we got to meet at the library, right? And I'm thinking to myself, Well, what if she doesn't want to talk to me anymore because she don't think I'm smart enough? I'm nervous because I'm like, I don't think she wants to have a conversation with someone she can't even have a conversation with. I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? So I'm shaking, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm shaking. Oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I think, and I say to myself, I got it. I know what I'm gonna tell her. I'll just tell her I'll do better, because women always believe that. No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. That's not what I said, right? I was just throwing out a joke just to check the temperature in the room. It's okay to laugh today. All right? It's okay to laugh today. No, I didn't say that. I was there, but I said I'm gonna say to her, I'm gonna just say, this is my first semester. It's a new adjustment. I live like 4 hours away from home. I'm just now adjusting to my new life here in college, and I'm gonna get it right. I'm gonna get it right. And so I got to the room. I got to the library, right? And we're in a meeting room. We reserved it. We're in the meeting room. I open the door. Pause. Any of y'all ever seen the movie Fences before? August Wilson? Anybody ever seen that? Viola Davis is like one of my favorite actors of all time. When she cries, the world believes it. It is like one of the ugliest cries I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's like, it's snot and it's like tears and it's like wet and it's sweaty. And I'm like, ugh. So when I open the meeting room door, she looked just like Viola Davis. Yeah. I was like, oh my goodness, she definitely failed. She definitely failed. And I'm okay. So now I start feeling better about myself and my 2.2. I was like, hey, maybe I don't want to have a conversation with you. So she goes, Jeff, what did you get? And so I give her my grades, and she looks at it. But then she starts looking disappointed, like, Jeff, what is this? I was like, what are you talking about? That's a 2.2. I'm eligible. Basketball season starts on Saturday. I got a game at 3:30. Make sure you wear the jersey and bring the sign. Is that the sign? Can you put my face on it? Okay. I was like, well, you crying. What did you get? Little miss, I want to cry.
Tragic.
I couldn't believe it. I had to hold it up to the light just to make sure I was seeing what I was seeing. I was like, what is this? What? She had a 3.9. Room full of students and educators. Any of y'all ever cried because you had a 3.9? I've never cried. I couldn't understand. I'm like, why are you crying? This is a 3.9. That's all A's and an A minus. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, why are you crying? She said, because I deserve the 4.0. I was like, how you know? She said, because I did the work. I was like, what that mean? She said, no, this is it. No, I'm not settling for this. I'm going back to my teacher and I'm showing her the work because I saved my work for the whole year. You saved your work for the whole year? What?
Tragic.
I saved my work for the whole year and I'm going to show my teacher and she's going to give me an A and I'm going to get my 4.0. I was like, good luck. But the game starts on Saturday at 3:30. Make sure you're there. 3 days later, y'all, she came back with a 4.0 grade point average. Give her a round of applause. She came back with a 4.0 grade point average 3 days later. You know the difference between me and her at that point in time in our lives? The standard that she had set for herself was much higher than the standard that I had set for myself my whole entire life. Here's what I'm asking you all to do. I want you to raise the standard of what you will accept in your life. Nothing less than your absolute best will do. And so it didn't dawn on me at that point in time, and it didn't hit me until I had to go back to school and get my master's degree. That's why I finished with a 3.7 grade point average, because I didn't realize that I had to raise the standard in my life for everything that I did, because I also noticed that not only was I average as a student, I was average as a football player, I was average as a basketball player, I was average as a son, I was average as a brother, I was average as a partner, I was average as a cousin, I was average as a nephew. You know why? Because I showed up as me in every area of my life. You don't just turn it on and turn it off. You don't all of a sudden just be great at one thing and then all of a sudden not be great at another thing, right? You don't all of a sudden just say, you know what, I'm going to be really good at this, and then everything else I'm just not going to pay attention to. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that I wasn't showing up as the best version of myself. What I want you all to do is I want you to show up as the best version of yourself in everything that you do by doing one thing in particular. Raise your standards. Nothing less than your absolute best will do at this point. Nothing less than your absolute best will do at this point. Y'all, so I started doing more research in math, right? I learned about a couple different types of variables. One of the variables that I learned about was something called an independent variable and a dependent variable. And essentially, the dependent variable depends on the independent variable in order to determine its value. And I said, man, that's amazing. It reminded me of this story that I heard about the farmer and a donkey. It's a story about a farmer and a donkey. So one day this donkey fell into a well. How did this happen? Who knows, but it did. It fell into a well, a really deep well. And the farmer heard this donkey crying out. I think that's what a donkey sounds like when it cries, right? Something like that. And so the farmer rushed over. He's looking, he's like, man, wow, that's a pretty deep well. I don't know how I'm going to get it. And so he's thinking of everything, right? He's thinking of everything. Other people from the town come over to look and to help him. He's like, how are we going to get him out? They're like, I don't understand. I don't know. He's down in there. So the farmer has this idea. He says, you know what? I don't want the donkey to cry no more. I'm just going to bury it. I'm just going to bury it. Because I don't want the donkey to suffer anymore, because it's down there, it's going to have to starve to death, there's not getting any water. If we bury it right now, he'll just, it'll just be done. So the farmer, he takes a shovel and he walks over to the well and he throws it into the well, and he takes some more and he throws it into the well. But while the donkey realized that as the farmer was throwing the dirt on him, he just shook it off. And what happened was, the more dirt the farmer threw, the more the donkey shook off. And then all of a sudden, it just started going underneath the donkey's feet. And the more it happened, the more the donkey just started to rise into the well, where eventually it got to the point, because the farmer had thrown so much dirt, that the donkey was actually able to get out. Make some noise for the donkey, y'all. Come on, donkey. Right? Here's what that means to me. Sometimes life is going to throw some stuff on you. You're going to fail that test. You're going to have a bad day. Your mom or your dad going to make you mad. The game's not going to go your way. You're going to be playing it and you're going to be frustrated. But all you got to do is you got to act just like that donkey. Sometimes you just got to shake it off. Y'all, there's a lot of stuff in my life that I just had to shake off, y'all. I'm telling you, I literally just had to shake it off. When I was, dang, how old was I? I can't remember how old I was. But on June 4th, 2014, it was 10 years ago. June 4th, 2014, y'all, I lost my house and my job the same exact day. I couldn't believe it. I lost my house and my job the same exact day. Like, Hollywood could not have written a better story on how I would lose my house and my job the same exact day, but it happened. My job, we were going through an investigation. My landlord, she came to me and said, Jeff, I sold my house. You got 30 days to get out. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But I called to my mentor again. I said, listen, man, I need some help. I need some advice. I need, I'm coming to you because this is where I know. He said, Jeff, it's supposed to happen that way. I said, you sure? He said, Jeff, it's supposed to happen that way. He said, it's going to be some dirt thrown on you. It's going to be some things that you don't understand. But it's supposed to happen that way. And it made sense. My wife, she's a screenwriter. And she's teaching me a lot of processes about writing movies. And one of the things in the movies that you always have to figure out in the beginning of the movie is you got to figure out what the conflict is. In life, there's supposed to be conflict. In life, there's supposed to be trials. There's supposed to be tribulations. I mean, none of us would go see a movie where everything worked out. Would we? I mean, picture this. Picture this. You go to a movie. The guy and the girl, they meet the love of their high school sweethearts, right? They meet their high school sweethearts. They get married. They have kids. They get older. They have grandkids. They have dogs. They have grand puppies as well. And at 95 years old, they pass away in the bed together with each other, holding hands. That sounds like a beautiful story, but no one would ever watch it. You know why? Because there's no conflict. We want to see the stuff. Right? We want to see something happen. And I realized that in my life, in order for me to move my story forward, in order for me to solve my problem, there has to be a problem to solve in the first place. And I'm going to give you one last thing before I open it up for a Q&A session. I need somebody to help me out real quick. Can somebody come up here and help me? I only want you to walk. I only want you to walk. You want to help me? Come on. Come on, you can help me. You can take your backpack off if you want to.
Can I keep it?
Yeah, you can keep it on 100%. Absolutely. Give her a round of applause. Thank you. So look, I just want you to stand right here, okay? And look, here's what I want you to do. I just want you to walk this red line all the way down to the end, okay? Do that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. This is gonna make a lot of sense when it's done. Okay? Perfect. You did it. All right, come back. Okay? Come back. Here's how much a small change, stop right there, turn back that way. Here's how much a small change could have a lasting effect. You see, when she walked the red line, she walked all the way straight to the corner, right? I'm gonna turn you a little bit, okay? Don't follow the red line anymore. Just follow the direction that I turn you, okay? Stand on the red line. No, stand on the red line, and I'm gonna turn you a little bit, okay? Right there, now walk straight. Right? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Give her a round of applause, y'all. Here's the example. You don't have to make a huge change right now to have a lasting impact on the rest of your life. It only takes small changes and small adjustments for you to have a lasting impact on your life. If you continue down this certain road, we know where this road ends up. I knew where my road ended up in my life. I made small changes. And then after a while, I got to a point where I started to see bigger things. 2 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to celebrate my grandmother's 90th birthday. My grandmother turned 90 years old. What's up, man? How you doing? You good? My grandmother celebrated her 90th birthday. And we had an opportunity to celebrate that birthday at my house. At my house. We had an opportunity to celebrate her birthday at my house. And my grandmother, she gave one of the most powerful speeches that I've ever heard in my entire life. And it was only about 3 minutes long. But it made me extremely appreciative of my grandmother and of my family, because she looked at me afterwards and after everybody had gone the next day, and she told me, she said, "Grandson, I'm so proud of you. It's because of you that we can still do this." My uncle, who we used to do family gatherings at his house, he passed away of a stroke probably about 8 or 9 years ago. And there was a point where our family, we stopped meeting, we stopped getting together. And because I was able to make small changes in my life, I was able to afford a house that allowed for me to celebrate my grandmother on her 90th birthday, y'all. I went to 4 different elementary schools when I was younger. My mom, she moved every 2 to 3 years. Every 2 to 3 years, we would have to move. And what I craved growing up was consistency. I don't have any friends from when I was in elementary school. And I'm a little jealous of people who do. I don't have any lasting friendships that I can say I've been friends with these people for 20 years, 25 plus years. I don't have that because we always moved. And what I wanted for my kids and my family was stability. So I bought a house that will allow us to have stability. And in 2 years ago, that same playroom that I saw in that young boy's house, I was able to get it in my own. That same white room that I saw in T.I. and Tiny's house, I was able to get it in my own home. What I'm saying to each and every one of you is that life is a series of problems, and it doesn't get any easier, you just get better. Every step of the way, I want you to continue to get better. And there's certain formulas that you can follow. How many of you all have mentors? If you don't have a mentor, I'm going to ask you to get one or get 5. That's my recommendation. And here's the thing. Your mentor doesn't have to be someone that you can physically talk to. Your mentor is anyone that you learn from. I learn from mentors all the time by reading their books, by listening to their interviews, by watching their podcasts. I learn from my mentors in a multiple of different ways. And I've developed this philosophy in life. And the philosophy is winners write history, losers become a part of the story. Every single last one of you are winners, and you were born to be winners. Write your own history. Don't allow someone else to write you into their story, because I guarantee they're not going to write the ending to your life the way that you would want it to be written. You have the pen, and what's written is 100% up to you. I want to thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much for your energy. I do want to open it up for a Q&A session, so if you all have any questions, please feel free. So here's what I tell people, right? Closed mouths don't get fed. So if you have any questions, certainly ask me. I'm usually an open book. If you don't want to ask any questions here, I'm available pretty much everywhere at Backpack Jeff. Any questions?
I might have missed it, but why are you called Backpack Jeff?
Why? Gotcha. I didn't miss it. I saved it for this, actually. So I call myself Backpack Jeff because anytime I speak in front of audiences, I'm always nervous. And so what I do is I put things in my bag that matter to me. So like pictures of my wife, my son, my daughter, my mother, my father, my grandmother. And so anytime I'm here, it's not just me on stage, it's me and everybody else who has my back. So it's like a comfort thing for me. Yeah, thank you. Yes, that was your question. Gotcha. Yes, sir.
What type of jobs you work?
What type of jobs? So I do this professionally.
Oh.
I do this professionally. And then I go to schools and I also teach like life skills. So I teach conflict resolution, social emotional learning, and I teach financial literacy.
Okay, so compared to how much money you made in the past, how much money you make now?
That's a good question. How much, let me ask you, if you were to go somewhere and speak for an hour, like a college or a really big business, how much would you expect to get paid for that hour?
$500.
$500? I charge $10,000.
So you charge $10,000?
No. I charge $10,000.
Are you for it?
Huh?
Are you for it?
Yeah, for it.
Charge $10,000.
$10,000 for 1 hour. My mentor charges like $200,000 for an hour. He started off like 10 years ago when I first started this at $50,000. But so when I go and get my doctoral degree, I got to go back to school one more time. It's going to take me 3 years to finish my doctoral degree, 2 years and 9 months. And after that, it'll be somewhere around $25,000 to $30,000 an hour.
My God.
Problem solving. Problem solving. Yes.
Did you marry her? Oh, yeah.
No, I did not. No. She, after our sophomore year, she transferred to a school in Ohio, and we just, we couldn't make the long distance thing. I was a broke college kid with no car, so we couldn't make the long distance thing work. But we are still good friends to this day. We are still good friends to this day. A lot of people ask that. Some people ask that question, but I'm always surprised at who catches on to that. Anybody else? Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes.
Any financial advice?
Any financial advice? Yes. You have an iPhone? Yes. Go to your app store. To anybody who has an iPhone, I want you to go to your app store. Go to your app store. Okay? And I want you to download this app called Financial Football. Type in there Financial Football. It'll come up as Visa Financial Football. Visa Financial Football. And all you're going to do is you're going to play football while learning financial literacy. You're going to play football while learning financial literacy. And you can go to financialfootball.com if you don't have an iPhone. Go to financialfootball.com. It'll teach you finances for the ages of 11 to 14, 14 to 18, and 18 plus for business or your personal life. And this is one of the tools that I use with my 13-year-old daughter every single day in order to teach her finances. One of the most important lessons you can learn is money and how to work money, essentially. Yes.
Do you own any stock or land?
I don't own stock. I don't own land, but I bought a house, so I don't own it yet. We still got a lot to pay on it, but yes, no, I do own some stock. So I do like Acorn. It's an app that so like if I go to the store and I spend $13.20, Acorn will take the other 80 cents and they'll put it into a stock account. So I don't own a lot in stocks right now. I'm more or less working on like growing my business part. But if you're looking to understand stocks, I would follow this guy on Instagram. His name is Wall Street Trapper. It's an interesting name, but he has a lot of great information. Yes.
Could you repeat yourself about the app?
Yep, Financial Football.
No, after that.
Oh, Acorn. Yep, it's another app called Acorn. A-C-O-R-N. Acorn. So it'll take your dollar amount and round it up, and it'll invest it into the S&P 500. Yes. I don't have a book, but I do have a podcast, and it's called In My Bag with Backpack Jeff. If you type in Backpack Jeff on YouTube, or if you type it in on Google, you'll find it. And wherever you watch podcasts, so Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever. Yep. If you type in Backpack Jeff, you'll find me. I'm the only one. Anybody else? Yes.
You putting this on YouTube?
Huh?
You putting this on YouTube?
Maybe small clips, not the whole thing. Yeah, not the whole thing. I got to get my YouTube short views up. Anybody else? Yes.
Recommendations for mentorship for high school students?
That's my mentorship program is what I would recommend first and foremost. We meet every Tuesday at 5 p.m. on Zoom. You all can go to Instagram, and if you send me a message that says WIN, W-I-N, you'll get the message like right now in terms of how to join my mentor program. So what I do is I essentially help students to kind of like plan out and figure out what they want to do. And so once I figure out what they want to do, I may not know how to do it, but I can connect them with resources to help them learn exactly how to do it. So I would certainly recommend my mentor program. There's a couple of other ones. There's Push for Greatness. A friend of mine runs that mentor program. And then another friend of mine runs a program called Grind Hard, Dream Big. So those are a couple of mentor programs that I would definitely recommend. Yes. So the mentor program that I'm talking about right now is for students. I do have an adult mentor program. It's called the Winner's Circle. And the motto is winners write history, losers become a part of the story. We meet Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. and Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Again, if you send me a DM on Instagram, it'll send it right to you. Or if you want, you can go to backpackjeff.com, send me an email, and then what I'll do is I'll send you the link in order to join that program. Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. and Sunday nights at 7 p.m. And then for the Young Persons Mentor Program, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Anybody else? Yes.
I have two questions.
Okay.
So you charge $10,000 for the mentors too?
No, that's free.
Okay, and then the second was how, if you had to like, how would you grow your podcast?
How would I grow my podcast?
Yeah, like to be more without having to pay for it or invest in like YouTube.
You ready?
Soon or,
When I tell you this, what you gonna take notes on? When I tell you this, what are you gonna take notes on?
of course.
Okay, so you have your YouTube channel, right?
I don't do podcasting on YouTube.
You don't do? Okay, so here's how I would grow my podcast. I would certainly put my podcast on YouTube, even if it's not your face, right? It can just be a picture, and then it can just be the audio over it. I would take the link from YouTube, and then I would put it into this AI. It's called Opus.pro, OPUS.pro. It's a free software where if you put your YouTube link in there, it'll chop it up into 30 different clips, and it'll give you the clips. So now you can post them to all of your social media. In fact, mine does that, and it posts to Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn all at the same time. I've got about 4 posts going every single day. And that's free. You can also use video.ai. It's VYDIO.ai, and it'll do the same exact thing, because Opus Pro will only give you about 2.5 hours every month. So after you use Opus Pro, then use video.ai for the next month. And then the month after that, go back to using Opus Pro. And then after that, go back to using video.ai. The more people see you, the more visible you are, the easier it's going to be for them to resonate with you and support you. The biggest thing for growing anything is building trust. It's why I come and I do these events, because I need to build more trust in the community. More people need to know who I am and what it is that I do. So when I travel, I can charge $10,000, but here in my home, I'm doing a lot for free, because none of these people have seen, a couple of us have seen me before, right? Have seen me perform before or speak before. Other people also need to see that. So the more you can get your voice out there, the better. And then you need to be consistent. Do you watch football? Right, no. What day of the week does football come on?
Sunday, Monday, Thursday.
Shh, just heard. What day of the week does football come on? You don't know?
I work at a football stadium. I don't watch it.
What day of the week did you work?
Sunday.
Sunday, right. What time did the game start?
Like around evening.
Okay, what time is that?
I work from like 3 to 11 at night.
Okay, so here's so even someone who doesn't watch football know what day of the week football comes on and around what time football starts. How do you know that? Because they've been consistent. So you got to run your podcast just like they would run a show. What time does your favorite show come on? And what day of the week? You don't have to say the show, but you know what day of the week it come on and what time it come on, don't you?
It's a manga. It comes every episode, probably like on a Tuesday around like 6 o'clock.
Around like 6 o'clock. How do you know that? Because it's your favorite show. So if you want somebody to support your podcast, it's got to come on the same day, the same time, every single week. That's how you do that. Okay. Anybody else before I let you all go?
Very quickly, let's give Mr. Jeff a round of applause.
Thank you. I'm sure. It always does. Always does.
Put it right up.
No, it's overheated. It's done. Hey,
Not be able to get
absolutely.
I was trying while she was walking behind.
Yeah. Let me put this down. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, but they listening.
Okay, this is
Ready?
perfect. Awesome. That's one more. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Thank you for helping me today. What's up?
It was so nice to hear you and meet you.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So you got a podcast?
I do have a podcast. It's not too big yet, but I do.
Don't worry about it.
podcast on a few platforms.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I said
Don't do that.
It's gonna be
Don't do
big.
that.
It's not. It ain't there yet.
But I don't even need to know that. I don't even need to. I got a podcast. That's it. That's it, right? You gonna call that into existence, it not being big. Even if you say yeah, you gonna call it into existence.
Yeah,
Say yeah, I got
that's
yeah,
how, right?
absolutely. Say just say I got a podcast. That's all. I'm gonna support your podcast. What's the name of it?
It's called You Slip, We Slip, Don't Slip.
Okay, tell me why.
Basically saying like if me and her hold hands, right? Because that's what we going. We walking on water. If I slip, she gonna slip.
Right.
We both gonna slip. So slip, don't slip.
Okay, I like that.
Like you gotta pay attention to where you walk.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you have I would imagine you have a logo already, right?
Yeah.
You got a logo. Where are you putting the podcast at?
My podcast on Twitch, Kick, Instagram, Zeno, Spoon, and Bingo.
Okay, all right. How'd you figure that out? How to do it? How to put that podcast everywhere?
Just I guess yeah, I guess experiences from being on like social media for so long.
Yeah.
And how to like
You got Instagram?
I do.
Follow this guy on Instagram. He gonna teach you all about it.
That information too. The information you get.
Okay, I got it.
It's D as in David, and then Shans. SHAN, D as in David S. That's one of my mentors.
I'm gonna leave. I just want
That's
to thank you for
crazy.
being here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope to do something.
Well, I think I've seen
Absolutely.
this guy before.
Sleep is for suckers. That's one of my mentors. He's taught me a lot about the podcast game and how to be successful in it. So yeah, that would be
Appreciate that.
absolutely,
Nice to meet
absolutely.
you.
Anything, send me a message on Backpack Jeff and I'll help you out. All right. Hey, how are you? Good. Nice to meet you.
I just had a question. What's your favorite part about doing this?
The impact that I can make on other people's lives. I live by a philosophy, another philosophy, and it is the more people you can help get what they want, the more you can have what you want. So the more people I can go out and I can help them get to where they desire to get to, that's what makes me happy. Because in return, I know I will also be happy in doing that. And making other people happy is what makes me happy. So I love it. Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Anderson has a quick question.
What's up, Anderson?
Type it out. He wanted the AI, the thing you mentioned about AI.
Yep, Opus Pro, OPUS
Yeah.
.pro. And then video, the other one is video, VYDIO.
VY.
Yep, VY, yeah, it's spelled different, VYDIO. VYDIO, video.ai. All right.
That's it?
Got it?
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks so
Thank you. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, how you?
I'm doing good.
It's been a minute.
I know, man. How you been?
I've been good.
You
I
been-
still follow you on Instagram.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Can I
Yeah.
officially just let you know that I was gonna talk to my husband and then maybe send you a message because him and his friend have a videography company called 88 Visual.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of it's just them. It's been around for about 4 years, but they have already won an Emmy already.
Wow.
Do a lot of content creation though.
Yeah.
Like video recording things like this.
Absolutely.
And then getting it out for your,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, they're based out of Frederick, but travel. They've been doing some stuff in DC and
Okay.
Some other
I'm in
people.
Frederick every weekend.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Where do you go in Frederick?
It's more like Sabiesville. Juvenile detention centers up there every Saturday and then
So the
Sunday.
juvenile detention center? Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And then on Sundays I go to Pikesville. So still up that way, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause he has, so that's one of his businesses, and then his other business is similar to, I feel like, to some of what you do. They do classes, like what you said.
Yeah. Teaching
but
the life
they do
skills.
them in, like life skills and conflict resolution and things like that. But they do them in rehab centers.
Okay.
Like drug rehab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gravitates, like through the videography company, they gravitate to things that they feel like matter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're okay, I'll see if
Please do.
we reach out to you.
Please do.
I think you guys could be mutually beneficial.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
All right. And yeah, so I think he would love working with you. I'll send it out.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Shake your hand. God bless you, sir.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. I appreciate that.
You need to work on your jump shot.
Always got to work on that